Mercedes has announced plans to introduce upgrades to their vehicle every weekend, leading up to their home Grand Prix at Silverstone. This initiative suggests that the Brackley-based team may have finally grasped the intricacies of enhancing their car's performance. While F1 enthusiasts might view this announcement with skepticism, given Mercedes' recent track record, it's evident that the team is making progress. However, this progress has not been sufficient to close the gap with their competitors. The critical question remains, can the upcoming series of upgrades unlock further performance from the W15? And crucially, will it be enough to re-enter the top three battle? It's undeniable that Mercedes has been one of the most disappointing teams in terms of car development over the past 3 years, consistently failing to produce a truly competitive vehicle. Despite some improvements, the persistent instability of the rear axle continues to plague the car's performance, a problem that has resurfaced in recent races despite earlier fixes. This is why the team remains committed to inventing and implementing upgrades, a strategy they intend to pursue until their home race at Silverstone. Discussing the car's performance and characteristics, Wolff mentioned that the minor improvement achieved in Imola was promising. Although we are still one step behind the leading three teams and have considerable work ahead, we now have a clear direction and ongoing developments. We are seeing clear indications of the development path to follow. When asked whether he believes there is a chance for the W15 to compete with the RB20, a prospect deemed impossible by many, but not by Wolff, the Mercedes team principal responded affirmatively. He stated, "Yes, our car does have the groundwork in place to do what it needs on the aero side to catch up to Red Bull. The basis of the car is more conventional in terms of determining where we want to have downforce and how we want to generate aero efficiency. We pretty much know where this is going, and this is the advantage we've gained over the past 2 seasons." Wolff's optimism is evident and palpable through his statements. We should remember that despite his optimistic claims about the significant downforce improvements expected from the Australian track, improvements that were supposed to translate to half a second in performance, this did not materialize. This highlights the need for Mercedes to focus on development at their factory rather than generating hype on social media. Many Mercedes fans now believe they won't see true competitiveness until 2026. However, Mercedes has the chance to prove them wrong. The introduction of a new design and chassis with the W15 has provided a more stable platform to build on, although the stability still falls short of Mercedes' expectations. Wolff acknowledged this by saying, "I don't know how often I use the term stable platform. In my view, a stable platform is like a car where you are clear about the development direction to take, aiming for optimal performance. Over the past few years, we've experienced a lot of fluctuation and have faced several false starts. However, we missed identifying a crucial element earlier, which now boosts our confidence. Nonetheless, nothing in this sport is guaranteed, and we acknowledge our current standing is not satisfactory. You can sense my frustration, and we simply must perform better." Admittedly, many may approach this statement with skepticism, as similar assurances have been repeatedly given by Wolff and the technical team at Mercedes. A key distinction between this version of the car and the previous one lies in its design. Mercedes has adopted a new design philosophy that has expanded the operating window for the tires and improved the car's balance. Observing the RB20's performance in the last 2 races clarifies why Mercedes decided to abandon their previous concept after 2 challenging years. The return of James Allison as the team's technical director has been instrumental. He introduced several innovative elements to the W15, including an improved front wing that enhances the car's aerodynamic profile. The primary objective for Mercedes has been to develop the W15, and the initial upgrades introduced in Miami, combined with a new rear and beam wing, have addressed some balance issues. According to Toto Wolff, these upgrades have boosted performance by approximately 1 to 1.5 tenths of a second. While they are not yet leading the pack, they are also not regressing as some of their customer teams, such as Aston Martin and Williams, are. Although this progress might not represent a dramatic leap for Mercedes, the team is committed to introducing upgrades at every race weekend leading up to the Silverstone GP. This indicates that the Silver Arrows have introduced some intriguing updates to their car for the Monaco GP. The W15 spec version, which made its debut at this circuit last year, will be under scrutiny. A strong qualifying lap from them would significantly enhance their understanding of the car, a critical factor in closing the gap to the top three teams. Discussing recent improvements, Wolff emphasized that the enhancements seen in the past few races are incremental rather than miraculous, but aim to better balance the car, thus boosting performance. The W15's foundation is designed to be more conventional, granting their aerodynamicists greater flexibility in development. This conventionality applies not only to the chassis, but also to their approach in generating downforce and achieving aerodynamic efficiency. The main challenge Mercedes faces at the moment is the discrepancy between their simulator tests and on-track performance. While the team claims this is a widespread issue affecting all teams, the reality appears different. Some teams have significantly reduced the gap to Red Bull. McLaren, for instance, has made considerable strides, with Russell urging Mercedes to emulate their upgrade strategies. Ferrari, once neck and neck with Mercedes in recent years, is now far ahead. Vasseur even joked that the W15 is currently 28 seconds slower than Ferrari in Imola, which he considers an improvement compared to their initial situation. Additionally, Mercedes is contending with the loss of key technical staff. Following the departure of Loic Serra and Jerome D'Ambrosio, Mercedes has been perceived as a vulnerable team, particularly after the seven-time world champion left without even testing the car for the 2024 season. This situation suggests a negative trend that may require the team to undergo a complete rebuild. Such a reconstruction process is undoubtedly painful and time-consuming, potentially delaying competitiveness until 2026. Nevertheless, the Brackley-based team hasn't been idle. They've recruited high-profile figures, particularly from Ferrari. Simone Resta will take on the role of strategic development director, while Enrico Sampo, a highly experienced figure in the simulation department, will contribute their expertise. Whether these two key hires can steer Mercedes back on track remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that Mercedes will continue to innovate and introduce upgrades to their car in the coming weekends. This ongoing development will provide a valuable opportunity to assess whether the team has finally addressed the fundamental issues with its car. Mercedes isn't regressing like some teams on the grid, notably Aston Martin. However, their progress isn't sufficient to challenge the top three, raising questions about whether they've failed for the third consecutive time to build a proper and competitive car under the current regulations. Considering all of this, do you think Mercedes has the potential to catch up to Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren at the front? Or will we have to wait until 2026 to see true competitiveness from the Silver Arrows? Share your thoughts in the comments below.